You're listening to the Talk of the Tribe, Wapsie Valley Warrior Podcast, brought to you by Little Wapsie Communications. Their state-of-the-art fiber network is complete in Fairbanks, ready to serve your home or business with the fastest internet in town. Orin Mutual Telephone Company. Serving the area since 1911, Orin Mutual is a modern, independently owned telephone company providing internet and telephone services to Orin, Iowa, and the surrounding rural area. RTC Communications. They are here to provide high-quality, superior service to you, the customer, by offering great customer service and the services you want and need to work and stay connected with family and friends. This is the Talk of the Tribe podcast, coming to you from the center of Warrior Country. Here are your hosts, Zach Boevers and Ryker Oberle.
Is this happening?
Season 2, we're back.
We are back.
Welcome back to the Talk of the Tribe podcast. It is our first episode of Season 2. We've made some new improvements. We now have video.
Hi, guys.
So,
you
yeah.
can actually see us now. You can see the actual dorks behind the voice.
Yep, so we are in the world-famous, like we said earlier, the film room for us. So
when you hear us talking about the refrigerator, there it is.
Yeah, you can see it, and there's the door. This is where a lot of announcements were done, that was for sure. But we are here to start Season 2, Episode 1 of the Talk of the Tribe podcast. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to look there than my computer, which is right here. So, but hopefully I'm done touching the computer for the rest of the time. So welcome back. We have a lot to talk about today, and so far, how's everything been?
I mean, it's been nice. It was nice getting back on the broadcasting way of things, but podcast is next, and everything just has to file in. It'll come in one by one, and you'll get more Wapsie Valley entertainment.
Yeah, we have. So we're going to talk about sports for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the new broadcasting setup, and then we will probably end with some segments, a Warrior of the Week, and then a little preview of episode 2 of the second season
That'll work.
of the Talk of the Tribe podcast. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with some volleyball. Why
Perfect.
not? So last Tuesday, Ryker and I were on the call for a varsity volleyball quad that was at home. That was against North Tama, Maquoketa Valley, and GR, correct. So the Warriors went 2 for 3. They with wins over GR and Maquoketa Valley, but they lost to North Tama. And Ryker, I'm gonna let you take it away. You said one thing, and you said one thing like 800 times that night. So I'll let you
go. This was one thing. Not only it'll come in with mechanics, but serving. Wapsie Valley has to get better at it, and they know it. It's not like it's just a huge surprise to them that I'm saying this, but. Yeah, a lot of them either hit the net or went over, not too many on the right and left side, but there's a lot that just seemed like the wind was pushing from right to left.
Yeah, and I think that was huge, especially in the North Tama game, because it was, you give up so many free points that way that, we kind of lost the game for ourselves. I wouldn't say North Tama won, we just lost. That's kind of how that works.
North Tama didn't beat us.
We beat ourselves.
Well, I mean, yeah.
So, but they the Warrior volleyball team was able to rebound at the Bondurant Farrar tournament on Saturday with a 3-3 record, but going up against 3A, 4A, 5A schools. In fact, they 2-0'd Ames, by the way.
Yeah, Ames.
So that was a big game for them. But then they come back last night, and they take care of business against Stolwine, sweeping them 3-0. But that first set was pretty interesting.
Yeah, Wapsie Valley with the first set, it seemed like Wapsie Valley was just going to run away with it. Their mechanics were kind of meh, but Owine's was
worse.
subpar, we'll say.
Subpar.
But Wapsie Valley willing to fight back. They've fixed their, I say this all the time, a mechanic serving, because that was a problem a little bit last night too. There was glimpses of it. It wasn't as bad as it was in that quad. But Wapsie Valley definitely showing glimpses against the 3A school in Owine Huskies.
Yeah, and I would say that first set was, I think we were up 24-18.
Yes.
And it ended up ending 25-22. Like pretty close. The Huskies went on a little bit of a run there, and Coach Shepard had to call a timeout when they needed 1 point. You gotta calm them down, get their composure, get that 1 point, and move on. But it was just more of when they got to 24, everything became sloppier.
Yep.
The serves weren't as good. We were making mental mistakes, all that kind of stuff. And we said it in our keys to the game beforehand, which was serve perfection. And that doesn't mean perfect serves every time. That means get the ball over the net every time. Because if you try to go for that perfect serve every time, you're going to hit the net quite a bit. Because not everybody's going to hit it every time. It takes a lot of practice. So getting it over the net every time is a big thing because you eliminate those free points.
Yeah, I would like to just real quick say that Wapsie Valley overall as a volleyball team, squad, whatever, is very, very fundamentally good. Like they know that if it's up to them, they're going to give it all that they have, and they always do. And they know that when they're making mental mistakes, they'll come back. Everyone has each other's back, which is always great to see. Wapsie Valley fundamentals, mentality can never go wrong.
Yeah, and Ryker ruined the bit.
You can talk about it.
So we're in the third set. If you didn't tune into the auto broadcast last night, we were in the third set, and I was already talking about breaking out the brooms and sorry for the voice crack, breaking out the brooms and get ready for the sweep, whatnot. And Ryker interrupted me during the goodness gracious.
It's all right. It's been a long week.
Ryker interrupted me during the middle of my bit, or a bit in broadcasting is more of like a segment or kind of somebody giving an announcement or speaking in a passionate way per se. But he interrupted me and I was like, Ryker, why are you interrupting me? He goes, well, we don't want to jinx it. I'm like, we're up 2-0. We're not going to jinx it. And then he brought up the Denver Dyke game from last year where Denver came back from down 2-0, and I was like, you know what? If we sweep them, I have every right to be mad at you.
And I gave him all the rights.
Yep.
And by the way, yellow Gatorade's the best.
Yeah, I brought yellow Gatorades today. So
no sponsor though.
that is no, Gatorade Zero. That yellow Gatorade Zero. Also red Gatorade Zero. Are the two best flavors of Gatorade. I don't really care for just regular Gatorade. Gotta go Gatorade Zero.
If anyone's watching this that knows Kanan Decker, or Garrett Miller, Taylor Schneider pretty well, we'd like to get them on the podcast. Just because interviews, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think we're aiming for Decker and Foster. So
Yep.
If they're out there, let them know that they are. We're hoping to get them on the pod. We want Shepard, and I told Shepard the other night, I said, you can bring on 1 or 2 varsity players that you want to, and we'll do an interview there. And, we're open to a lot of people. Just got to have something of worth an episode for. But, now I think we're going to transition into some cross-country, which they had their first meet of the night, or first meet of the year, last night. And a lot of teams were there. People, it was usually like 100 people. I think we're 100 and some were in a race. That's a lot of people for a cross-country race. We did pretty well. I believe Aiden Brady got 7th. And then the next closest was Marshall Weepy around the 21st, 21 range, right there. Also, on the girls' side, Jalen May, I believe, was in the 40 range, and then Adeline Kane was a little bit further behind her. 42nd. They were like right next to each other. I think they were .2
Wow.
separated. So, like, everybody's crossing the line at one time.
Adeline Kinn's a freshman. She has a bright future.
Yeah.
Same with Brindley Bamey.
So, that was that for girls cross country. So, now we're going to talk about football.
I'm going to say this before you talk. I should probably leave.
We're just starting to talk about football.
Yeah, football. Wapsie Valley copped the dub against, or they did not cop a dub. The JV did, but
JV copped the dub. That was
the
for
varsity
sure.
lost to Jessup. What, 2013? Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a fantasy draft?
No, I don't have a fantasy draft. I have to be
Oh.
home.
I feel like that was just your.
If I had the choice to have a fantasy draft, I would, but I don't. So
Okay. Well, all right. Well, why don't you give us your screen time real quick and your warrior of the week?
all right. My warrior of the week is Taylor Snyder. She not only fixed her serving mechanics extremely well, and she was putting them right over the net and into the corners for serving. And not only she has a very, very powerful left hand, and that's just really hard to come back from.
Mm-hmm.
But my screen time of yesterday, obviously, 6 hours, 34 minutes. Go
Ooh.
Ravens.
All right, Riker's out. First video episode. There we go. Ryker is on the road. Have a good one, brother. All right, he's out. I'm going to make this quick. We're not going to take very long. I got to get going too. So, football, anyways. The Warriors fall to Jessup the first game of the year. I will pull out Varsity Bounds and find some stats real quick. But I'll talk about JV because that's on the top of my head right now. But, so JV Monday. Warriors win 18-6. A very sloppy game, we'll put it that way. Very non-organized game. It was enough for us to get by, but it's not going to hold up later in the year. We definitely need to play better. We played well. We played well enough to win, but I don't think it'll be well enough to beat a team like Dyke or Hudson, who we play next Monday. But it was good enough to get by. I would say the O-line played well the second half. Not so great the first half. The defense was the highlight of that game, and they were able to take care of business on the defensive side. Only held them to 6 points, and that was a touchdown with like 30 seconds to go in the first half. We had 2 goal line stands, not letting them get in. Sorry, my goodness, the voice cracks are terrible. But I think so far, it was just not the best showing from the JV, but it was enough. It was, like I said, it was enough to get by. So varsity, they fall to Jessup. I'm gonna figure out how to get the stats for that game. I'm working on it. Don't worry. I have it in just a second. It's loading currently. But 20-13, the final. Here we go. So it was not a great showing. Jessup put up 14 on the board in the second quarter. That was kind of what sealed the deal for us. We were able to score 6 in the fourth, but it just wasn't enough for us to make that rally back. We started with a 7-6 lead coming out of the first quarter, but it just didn't hold up. Our defense kind of got tired. We had a lot of cramps, a lot of injuries. Not anything major. It was more of just your cramps. That's usually what it is the first game of the year. It's hot. It's humid. Not a lot of people or not really anybody's really like game ready to go. Because it's the first game of the year. You haven't had a game to kind of get things out of your system and ready to go. A lot of new guys, a lot of new faces on this Warrior team, and it showed. But overall, I think so. Passing yards, Kanan Decker went 4 for 8 for 22 yards, no touchdowns. He was also our leading rusher he had 17 attempts for 118 yards. So he rushed for over 100 yards, but no rushing touchdowns. Briar Bellis was our leading receiver, 2 receptions for 10 yards and a touchdown. Total tackles, Andrew Teat had 9 with 1 tackle for loss, and he also had an interception. On the Jessup side, their senior quarterback Ryan Treptow went 8 for 15 for 77 yards and 3 touchdowns. I believe all 3 of his touchdowns came on the ground. because he had 32 attempts for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that was the big thing. You just couldn't stop Treptow. Treptow had, I believe, 45 yards in the first half. I might be wrong on that, but I remember him not having very many, and then he just exploded in the second half and just went crazy running the ball. But the Warriors were in a 3-man front, so that opens up the run game. I get it, you have 5 linebackers to kind of fill gaps, but you go up against those big Jessup linemen, and it's not really going to end the greatest. But I would say just a lot of small things. I think everybody overall, the O-line held up. They played well. Quarterback, I think Decker did all he could. Hunter Curley did everything he could. Defensively, we played great. Just we were on the field so much that it's kind of that Iowa effect. You get tired after a certain amount of time. Receiving yards for Jessup, Paxton McHone had 4 receptions for 47 yards, and then total tackles, Jade Sullivan, senior, had 8 tackles. So that was that, and now the Warriors will be taking on Denver this Friday at home, so it's the first time in, I believe, 2 or 3 years that the Cyclones will be heading into Jerry Southmaid Field, and I expect it to be a pretty good game. I think this Warrior team is going to be ready for a rivalry game, and I think this Warrior crowd is going to be ready for the home opener, and especially when it's against Denver, it's going to be a good one. Last year didn't really end too well for the Warriors. I believe it was 33-16, if I remember. I might be wrong on that, but we'll just put it that way. Denver won in a pretty convincing win. Really, the only big play we had was Ian Bazinski had a kickoff return for a touchdown. So, I mean, that happened. But, other than that, I think this Warrior team is locked in, ready to go. And hopefully we have a good week of practice and we're ready to roll. So now, after all of that, the broadcasting news, we are moving to Huddle for our broadcasting, for our streams going forward. So get the Huddle app on your phone. If you have a Roku TV, there's a Huddle app on your TV. Just search up Wapsie Valley High School or Wapsie Valley Athletics. I believe it's Wapsie Valley High School, and you can find all of our live streams right there. So that will be the new change going forward. So I'm just going to let everybody know about that. Other than that, nothing's really changing. None of our production's changing. We're just changing services. That's about it. We're leaving YouTube and going to Huddle. So now I'm going to get my screen time. We're going to get our Warrior of the Week, and then we're going to get out of here. So, first off, screen time. I believe Ryker said 6 hours and 34 minutes. For me, I'm going to find it quick. 7 hours and 53 minutes, so he beat me. I had, yesterday we didn't have school, so I was on my phone quite a bit. But, Warrior of the Week. I think I'm going to give it to Kylie Molds. I think I heard over the weekend she had crossed the 80 kill mark. Yeah, crazy. Most girls only have like 300 in a year, if that. You have to be really good to hit that mark. She has 94 in like a week. So maybe by late September she'll hit the 300 mark. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but just an absolute animal on with the kills. And she also plays really good defense up front. She's a very vital role in the Warriors and winning the net up front, and I know Shepard appreciates that really well. So my Warrior of the Week is Kylie Mold. So both Warriors of the Week from Ryker and I are from the volleyball team, just different players respectively. But shout out to Taylor Schneider and Kylie Molds for winning the Talk of the Tribe Warriors of the Week. So I think that'll be all for us. Season 2 is officially in the books. Ryker had to leave early. I don't know why. Still really don't know why. But he's going to be back for episode 2. I hope it wasn't too long. We're going to make this quick. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in to episode 2. Hopefully you guys stick around for the entirety of season 2. And hopefully you guys go back and watch some of the old season 1 episodes. So I think that'll be all for us. Ryker joined me today. He's gone now, but it's Zach Boevers signing off here for the Talk of the Tribe podcast. Welcome to Season 2 of the Talk of the Tribe podcast. And until next time, go Warriors!